Hi, my name is Dominic Elsa-Atane from BPE Tuman. So for today's video, ah,
Chicken don't even care, got a plaster about dating you with.
so for today's video, I'm gonna discuss it to you the constructing supply type or constructed response test and type of paper and pencil test. Constructed response test can be very simple. Require student to answer with only 2 sentences or 1, or quite complex, requiring students to read prompt or specified text article. Reflect on the key points and then develop meaningful or analysis information. Constructed response tests are assessment items that ask students to apply knowledge, skills, and critical thinking abilities to real-world, standards-driven performance tasks. So, step 1. Planning the test. Planning of the test is the first important step in the test construction. The main goal of evaluation process is to collect valid, reliable, and usable data about the student. So, step 2. Preparing the test. After planning, preparation is the next important step in the test construction. In this step, the test items are constructed in accordance with the table of specification. Each type of test item needs special care of construction. So step 3, try out of the test. Once the test prepared, now it's time to be confirming the validity, reliability, and usability of the test. Try out help us to identify defective and ambiguous items, to determine the difficulty level of the test, and to determine the discriminating power of the items. And last but not the least, step 4, evaluating the test. Evaluating the test is the most important step in the test construction process. Evaluation is necessary to determine the quality of the test and the quality of the responses. Quality of the test implies that how good and dependable the test it is. Quality of the response means which items are misfit in the test. It also enables us to evaluate usability of the test in general classroom situations. So next, I'm gonna discuss it to you the type of paper and pencil test. Paper and pencil instruments refers to general group of assessment tools in which candidates read questions and respond in writing. This includes tests such as knowledge and ability tests, and inventories such as personality and interest inventories. Paper and pencil tests can be used to assess job-related knowledge and ability or skill qualifications. The possible range of the qualifications which can be assessed using paper and pencil tests is quite broad. For example, such as tests can assess anything from knowledge office, procedures to knowledge or federal registrations, and from the ability to follow directions, ability to solve numerical problems. So, step 1 is the listing the topic areas. For each knowledge qualification that will be assessed by the test, list the topic areas to be covered. Check off any critical topic areas that are particularly important to the job. For example, the topic areas that will covered for the qualification might knowledge of correspondence, knowledge of feeling, and knowledge of making travel arrangements rather. Or for example, the task to be assessed for the qualification might be the ability to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Step 2, specifying the response format, number of questions, the time limit, and difficulty level. So, prior to writing the questions for your test, you should decide on such things as the response format, the number of questions, the time limit, and the difficulty level. So, the third step is the writing the question, developing the scoring guide. So, all questions should top meaningful information. Also, the level of language used for the questions should be appropriate for the requirements of the position. The questions do not have to always be expressed verbally. Diagrams, graphs, or tables may be incorporated into a question where useful. When you are writing each questions, you should prepare to answer. Designate the marks to be allotted to each item, and decide the rules for scoring. This ensures that there is clear cut assigned to each question should be reflected the relative importance of the question. And for the last step, which is the reviewing question and scoring guide. Have the question and scoring guide reviewed by individual familiar with the positions in question. Typically, this would involve other managers and incumbents. Have them ensure that each question is answerable, relevant to the job, technically and grammatically correct, and clear and understandable. Any symbols, words, phrases, or content found to be offensive, ambiguous, inappropriate, or misleading should be revised or replaced. The review should also assess the appropriateness of the time limit and difficulty level of the questions. It may be helpful to have the reviewers actually take the test under testing conditions. You should only include in the final version of the paper and pencil test those questions that your reviews endorsed. So that is for today, guys. I hope you learned a lot from my video. And thank you for listening and watching. God bless and stay safe. Bye.